Well, it's been a couple weeks, yet again.
It has. Welcome.
Life's been good, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, what? Catch us up to speed, Will. What have you been up to these last 2 weeks since we last recorded? It's Friday the 13th at the time of this.
That's right. Feels like it's been a Friday the 13th for the past month. Has it really only been 2 weeks?
I believe so.
Cool. Okay, we'll take that. Feels like so much longer than that.
Yeah, I agree.
A lot of shit's going down at work.
Mm-hmm.
That's all I can think of. Is the world's gone to shit even more than what we recorded last time.
Outside of work.
There's absolutely no hope in the world anymore for anything. There's no point. Let's see what else. It finally got above like 30 degrees for a couple days in a row. That's been nice.
Yeah,
our snow is almost, I would say, like 80% gone, all except for like where it was piled up. So that's also nice.
Didn't you say you hit like 60 the other day?
Yeah, for a day, and then it hit almost like 58 today.
Must be nice. We had
there was a day in between that it got cold, but it's been nice.
I think it was over freezing twice, and where I live,
you're also further north.
Where I live, there's snow everywhere still, but where I drive for my route at work, it was almost completely melted.
Nice
there. So good for them.
But yeah, it's just been cold. It's like 2 weeks now has been cold and white and gray. Like no sun. It's been a long 2 weeks. And like I said, there's crap at work, which I don't even want to talk about. It's like nothing bad. It's just, I don't know, stressful.
Yeah.
Well, I guess I'll mention one of them. Like, I told you about like the turkey strike.
Turkey strike.
I
think you might have mentioned it, perhaps.
Context. So,
I think you might have mentioned it before, but
yeah,
I'm down for a refresher.
So,
or unless you just want to leave it.
Nope.
No refresher. That's fine too.
Yeah. No. Like so. Yeah. A wild turkey flew into one of our.
Yeah. You sent me a picture. Yeah.
Busted the window out crazy. So that was like.
Yeah.
That was like the milder of two things that happened.
I thought you meant like the turkeys stopped working.
Yeah, the mechanical turkeys.
Yeah. They went.
The strike. Yeah. I'm with you now. I'm there. Sorry.
Yeah. My puns are slippery sometimes.
It's been 2 weeks since I've had humor. Yeah. So that was like the milder of two things. Well, three things now, because just today I had to call like the state police from another state to report a hit and run on one of the vehicles that we're in charge of, I guess. So that was fun. Yeah. Yeah, other than that, it's been great. I did go, I have crazy car troubles. That's the other thing.
I remember that,
I'm still dealing with that. Hopefully tomorrow midday, as of this recording, I'll get a fix in progress. But last week...
You've still been able to like get to work, haven't you? Or have you been working from home?
No, I can't. Can
you work from home?
Yeah, no. I mean, I guess I could technically. I can't do everything from here though. There's a lot of programs that I don't have. That's a lot of access to files and stuff. But and also the phone. So no, not really. I could do like 1/10 of my job. So no, I guess I couldn't. Nor would I want to. I've been going to work for a couple of one day I had to get a ride, but other than that, I've just been buying gallon jugs of coolant and hoping that I don't have to use them. So last weekend, it was a week ago, which makes me feel like it's been longer than 2 weeks, but maybe it hasn't. But I guess it only has been. So last weekend I didn't record because just life, and then Saturday was the day in question. So Saturday, I went to one of those oddities and curiosities expos. Did I tell you about this?
No. Okay. You said that you weren't going to be free, and I also wasn't free.
Yeah.
But that was the extent of.
Well, my intent was to have like a lot of awesome stuff to talk about, and then that's when my car like bit the dust, and I was like, I don't even remember this. It was worth it all. But I went. It's like those. I don't know if you've seen them before, like the Oddities and Curiosity Expo. It's like this I think there's like other versions of this now, but they're like they're in like a convention center, and there's a bunch of vendors that sell like odd things
And curious.
and curiosities. Actually,
Yeah.
so oddities and curiosities are for sale. Oddities like
Was this in Kentucky or was it?
yes, it was actually.
Yeah.
It was in Louisville. But this thing tours all around. Yeah. But like oddities, so like there were like taxidermied things, skulls, bones of real things.
What would you say was the most curious oddity you saw?
Is the oddity itself curious, or am I?
The oddity itself,
There were a lot of like,
or the most odd curiosity.
well, there were a lot of dead things in jars, preserved in liquid, for sale. Some of those were
What was a strange thing that was preserved?
well, some of them were deformed. Some of them had
like two-headed, like calves and stuff.
or like a one-eyed pig, or
yeah.
stuff like that. There was also this
They had some of those at the Museum of the Weird in Austin.
yeah. So it was very much that to the extreme. Like it took 4 hours to get through this place, and everything was for sale.
And then it was on your way home that the car troubles began?
No.
It was on the way to?
No,
No? It was prior entirely.
no,
Oh, it was after entirely.
no.
Oh.
It was exactly upon arrival.
That's good. So you were like, well, I better fucking just at least enjoy this while I'm here.
Nope, didn't know that either. Nope.
That's good.
No, it was after that I figured out how bad it was. But
Gotcha.
beforehand is whenever, like right before, well, it was right. So I'll get there. So
Okay.
yeah, so oddities, that was cool. I did buy some things, a couple things, because actually the pricing was better than I thought it was going to be. So there were a lot of vendors there who like made shit out of weird stuff, like jewelry or clothing items, or like weird collectible display things or whatever, out of bones or out of demonic looking stuff or whatever, right? But then there was also a lot of vendors that were just like, they were like miniature self-contained antique stores that specialized in like odd stuff. So that's kind of cool. So I picked up a pair of earrings. Oh, yeah. In case they listen to this, I think they should have already gotten them by now. Sorry. I picked up a pair of earrings for a friend, and they were made. They had like little ceramic cowboy hats, and then below that ceramic cowboy hat was the vertebrae of a python.
Oh.
It was kind of neat, and it fits them very well, because they are a python cowboy. But then I also picked up myself a set, the upper set of a denture mold. So it's like I don't know if it's like rubber or exactly what it's plastic like, but it's just like a set of like gums, teeth, and like roof of mouth that you would use to make a set of dentures from. And I was hoping I had bottoms too, but they didn't. So I'll be able to make my own teeth now, which is kind of cool. Or my own upper set of teeth. So anyway, so here's the story. So like I said, but it was cool. It was like $16 to get in, 16 and change to get in. And then the teeth that I bought were like $15, and then the earrings that I bought were 16. So nothing was like crazy, but there were like crazy. I think like the most expensive item I saw there was a taxidermied gorilla. Yeah.
Jesus Christ.
No, yeah, it was nuts. And like an actual gorilla, massive, and they had it posed with like its teeth like snarling and shit. And that was like $5,500, I think. There was a fucking taxidermy giraffe neck and head. And that wasn't even as expensive as the gorilla, I guess, because it wasn't the full, or, because it wasn't, no, not gorilla. What'd I say?
You said gorilla, yeah.
I said gorilla, I meant orangutan. That's what I meant.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Or chimpanzee. No, I didn't mean orangutan either. I meant chimpanzee. Sorry. I'll get it right here in a minute. Chimpanzee is what. Yeah, that's what it was. But they had a full well, not full neck. It wasn't like the whole length. It was like a third of the neck and head. It was weird. Those were the oddities. Those are the curiosities.
Those are
So anyway,
I'm curious. Yeah.
so I left that morning, 8 o'clock or so, I think. It's a roughly 2 hour drive. I met a friend about halfway there to pick them up. They were gonna basically meet me at like a halfway point between the two of us, and then I was going to drive the rest of the way. So I met them that morning, great. Drove the rest of the way, fine. Get to Louisville and get to the parking garage, and going up the spirally steep incline of the parking garage. The place is like we got there like an hour after the convention opened, and there must have been like something else going on or two maybe, but like the parking garage was like pretty full, so it just kept spiraling up, and there were like a line of cars, both in front of me and behind me. So I'm not traveling very fast, and we're just like looking for a spot. And I think it was like the fourth level. I turned and I started to like go up the next incline, and all of a sudden like my hood just starts to fucking like roll clouds of steam. And I'm like, what the fuck is going on? And I'm thinking like maybe the steep incline, like, my car got hot, possibly. But I don't know why it would be steaming that much, other than like something bad happened. So, but I can't stop because like there's traffic behind me. All the spaces are full. I don't want to stop on the incline. So keep going up, keep trying to find a spot. We go up 2 more floors. So we're now on the sixth floor. And I finally find a spot, pull in. I actually had to wait for a car that was in front of me to back into their spot, which is a douchebag move in a parking garage. Don't ever back in. Anyway, the whole time my car is, like fucking fog machine over here. It's like vaping. But I'm not getting any like alarms, no buzzers, no, gauges are going crazy. I've got like the, thermostat for the coolant in the car. Nothing's looking abnormal. It all looks fine. Other than my car just looks like it's getting high. It's just, smoking away. So I pull into the spot, shut the car off, get out, pop the hood, of course, and I open the hood and I'm just like met with this billowing cloud, right? And I do immediately notice liquid, some kind of fluid, clear fluid, right where you put your hand to like unlatch the hood. Mm-hmm. So it's like right up front. But I hear my radiator fan running, I didn't hit anything. So I'm not like, I didn't like worry that like I, hit a rock or something or whatever. And like I said, as the hood lifts, I'm just met with this cloud of fog, and my eyes immediately notice the lid to the windshield wiper reservoir, like the washer fluid. Mm-hmm. The lid to that is open, like popped open up, and it's also like right down front, kind of near where the headlight would be, right? And my initial thought was like, oh, I just filled this up a few days ago. Maybe on like the steep incline, it like sloshed or something, and then like popped open and then splashed over on my engine, and I'm just really trying to like rationalize like what the hell happened, because I didn't hear anything. I didn't, no alarms, no like check engine light, nothing came on. So because of that, I just like closed the cap and was like, okay. And then I closed the hood because it's cold out. It's like 30 degrees. It's pretty cold.
Yeah.
So we're like wanting to go inside. So I'm like, I'll just, worry about that later, I guess. But I'm also like satisfied enough to be like, my car didn't tell me it was anything. And I think I found a cause, right? I don't have an explanation beyond that, but I'm like, okay, I guess that could happen. And I guess maybe that's what it was, right? So go to the thing, 4 hours, get out of it, go. We walked over to a burger place, had burgers, and I had amazing fries. They had these rosemary garlic shoestring fries. Oh my gosh, they were so good. So good that I actually went out and like Monday I bought frozen shoestring fries, and I bought like a jar of rosemary, and,
Yeah.
and I've made them twice at home now. Really good.
In
And
the
they
last
smell,
week.
yeah, basically, yeah, and they smell really good too. So yeah, so we go eat and stuff, and then we walk back to the parking garage, and it's not that far. So I think we were leaving at about 5:30, and we got there about noon, right? Get in the car. It's again really really cold, and
Yeah.
I start the car up because I'm just gonna like turn it on and just see like what happens, see if it blows up or whatever. So turn the car on. We get inside the car to get warm, and sat there for maybe 5 minutes. And also we just trying to figure out like, okay, what's the best plan of attack to get out of here, because downtown Louisville's all like one-way streets, so you have to like kind of know which direction you need to be heading to figure out which turn to make. So anyway, car's been running for like 5 or 6 minutes now. Okay, so everything checks out. Again, no like check engine, no warning lights, no temp, nothing, right? So I cranked the heat on the car because we were still pretty cold, because it was just really cold and windy, and start heading out. And I drive down all 6 floors, at the speed you have to get out of a parking garage, and then we get to the exit, and I pay the ticket, and gate goes up, and then you go to the street, and I had to wait for traffic for maybe a minute, to go by before I could pull out. And then I had to pull out, of course, and drive down to the street light, and I got stopped at the street light and waited. And
I want to say the anxiety is building, because if you're doing a step-by-step, this doesn't...
No, I'm doing the step-by-step to demonstrate like how long the car was running and not telling me anything.
Mm-hmm.
So anxiety is actually going down. I'm thinking like...
But in the storytelling version, though, my anxiety is going up.
Because you know the conclusion. Yeah, that's so-called superior
Exactly.
positioning, as far as Will at the time. Yeah, Will at the time was inferior to the knowledge that it's going to happen. So first stoplight, waited there, crosswalk. I almost ran over someone because I didn't see him, so I had to wait for them. Pull in the corner, go to the next block, stoplight again, make the same right-hand turn. I had to do like basically a big U-turn city block-wise. Go I find on the street that I need to be on, which has several stoplights. We catch like 2 of them, and I've probably been driving for like 5 minutes on top of the 5 minutes that the car is set running. And my heads-up display on the dash, or my, I guess not heads up, but like the dials and stuff, they're all digital, right? Except for like the speedo. There's a tachometer and there's a speedo that are physical, but other than that, all the other gauges are digital. But they're also always there. They're always displayed for me. And coolant temp looks fine. Oil temp is fine. Fuel gauge is where it's at. Nothing is like telling me that like something's seriously wrong, except for the fact that after this time we're still cold. And so I the fan's on high, and I really cranked like the heater up to like 76, 77, which I usually never get it past like 70, because it's a pretty good heater as far as that goes. It heats up pretty fast. And we had our seat warmers on, and those were definitely hot, but it's still cold air coming out. And I knew, I was like, I don't like that. But my car was not telling me any other sign. Now a professional would have told you like right away that's the major sign. Me, the novice, I was like, I know that's not right, but I don't know why that's not right. So drove down the street, finally made it to the on-ramp for the interstate, and waited at that light as well, turned the corner. So it's like going on like 15 minutes now or whatever. And going up the incline of the on-ramp must have like sloshed whatever was left in my coolant system. that was also boiling hot onto the thermostat of my car. And all of a sudden the temperature gauge just it pinged as if you were hitting the big hammer against the thing at the carnival to ring the bell. Like it went right to the top. And I was like, oh fuck. So I had my friend, because I was trying to like merge onto traffic and everything. I was like, and also going like 30 because I didn't want to push it any more than that. I knew another exit was like right away, but I didn't know if there was a gas station beyond that. So I knew I had to get off, but I didn't know, left, right, or whatever to go. So I had to look up a gas station, and that was quick. So we got to a gas station after I exited, and my car's like red, like the temp gauge is like, pull the fuck up, like stop now. Mm-hmm. So I pulled into the gas station, popped the hood, and it's steaming, but not as much. And the only reason is because there's nothing left in it to steam.
Yeah.
I boiled everything off. I boiled everything off whenever I first got to Louisville 5 hours ago, right? So I popped the hood, and this time, because there's not a big cloud of smoke, and because I know that it's like coolant related, I kind of know like where immediately to look, right? So my coolant reservoir is in the back of the engine compartment, sort of like near where the dash is of the inside of the car, right? And so I glanced over there first, and sure enough, it's like nothing's in it. And I'm like, oh fuck, okay. But I don't know why I decided to then next look at the front of the engine. I guess because I had already seen before, like 5 hours ago, I already saw like liquid up front, maybe. So that was why I immediately like made my eyes go towards the front where the radiator is, which the fan was like, because I might have shut the car off, or maybe I didn't shut the car off. I can't recall now, but I think I didn't shut the car off. I think I kept the car on because I wanted to see if anything was like, shooting liquid anywhere, basically, right? But so the fan was just like, it was going as hard as it could to try to keep up. And I just happened to glance down, and sure enough, like the main return hose from the engine back to the radiator had completely broke off. And so it had just shot everything that was in the engine and in the radiator. So it cycled all the way through the coolant system and then through the engine and then out into space. That was just off. And I was like, oh fuck. So I quickly went and shut off the engine. And it was like 5:15 in Louisville. And the sun was already about to set. We were on like the not great side of town too. So I just was like, oh crap. So I called my dad only because he's like a parts master. Like he knows a lot about cars, and he knows like, parts and how to do things and all that stuff. And I mainly called him to be like how difficult is it going to be for me to take this off and replace it? That was my initial goal, was I got to fix this. How hard is it going to be? So I called him, and he was like, I don't know. I just like drank a beer. So I was like, oh, okay. And he also said, like, I'm not really super drunk. I'm just saying that because I can't like come help you, And I was like, oh, well, I'm also like 2 hours away. And he goes, oh yeah, I can't come help. So I said, no, I'm just calling to like, give me some kind of heads up. Like, what is this going to, like what am I looking at time wise? Because I was also like rationalizing, do I just call for roadside service? If this is going to take a normal person like 3 hours to tear everything apart, you need special tools or whatever, then I'm clearly not going to be able to do that before it gets pitch black, and I'm in like a gas station parking lot that there's bars on the windows,
I also like that it would be the time that it would take, quote, a normal person.
Exactly, yeah.
As opposed to, I don't fucking know what a car is.
Well, no, not just that, like, I mean, I did end up fixing it. But, no, it was more like, it's going to take me a lot of, like, sitting here and, like, watching how-to videos and, like, looking up and also figuring out, like, I'm going to have a replacement part. I got to find that first. So that was the part where, like, if a normal person who, was already, I guess, well equipped or experienced with that stuff could just get to it, right? Which, again, I actually ended up basically just getting to it. But in the immediacy of the moment of me just being like, fuck, this sucks, I was just like, give me any help you can. So he's like, well, I don't really know your car that well because I'm not too familiar with, like, the newer Chryslers. And by newer, he meant like newer than 90s. So he was trying to talk me through like, do you see like a radiator cap? And I was like, no, there's not a radiator cap on this. Like there's, there's none of that stuff. At least not where I could see it. And he also didn't realize, I don't think at first, the hose that I was talking about. But anyway, I basically asked him, I was like, okay, so I'm looking at this connection. I was like, do you know how to get this off? And he's trying to explain to me, well, it should just be like like a simple clamp. And I was like, no, I get that. Like, it's usually just a clamp that you gotta like, pinch together. And it's like, this is not that. That's why I'm calling. It's because this is not a standard thing that I've ever seen before. And I've watched him work on cars. I've watched car shows. Not to say that I'm at all skilled or knowledgeable, but I at least know what a thing looks like, right? I was like, this is not that at all. So I don't know how to get the part that broke that's still attached to the engine off so I can put a new thing on there. That'll be the first step. Otherwise, I can't do anything with this because there's nothing to even... there's not enough pipe to put a replacement pipe on with that thing in the way. So I got back in the car. Well, I said thanks and, goodbye to him. And then I got back in the car because his other suggestion was, he was like, well, if worse comes to it, you'd have to get it towed, just call a tow company up here. That way you're not paying for them to return, if you call local company. I was like, yeah, that makes sense. Either way, I'm still paying a tow company to come get me. That's, 2 hours away. So I was like, okay, fine. So I hung up and I was like, I gotta find a video. So I watched like half a video that was like, how do you replace, and I just kind of guessed. I was like, upper radiator hose. Cause I also didn't know like the official name of the fucking part either, So I was like, upper radiator hose on a Chrysler, So first video that comes up, I was like, oh, that looks like, the same hose. So I watch it, and like the first thing the guy says is like, yeah, these return hoses that Chrysler made on these cars, they're actually known to break right here, and his broke exactly the same spot mine did. And then he goes, like, I think this video was from like 2 or 3 years ago. He says, they've actually stopped making this part because they know it keeps breaking. And I'm like, great, fantastic, okay. But I was hoping to watch it just to like have him show me how to take it off. But he already had the whole thing off, so I was like, well, that doesn't fucking help me any. So I get back out because I had to also
now that I got this off.
Yeah, yeah, basically, yeah. But I also sat inside long enough to let the engine cool because it was just hot, And I had gloves, but I just also didn't want to deal with like steam hitting me the whole time, or that hot engine smell, So it's like 10 till 6 now. It's getting darker. It's not dark, but it's like close. I was like, okay, well, I got to figure this out. So thankfully, I had all of my tools in my trunk, so that was great. So I get back out there, and I realized that like there's this plastic housing that the rubber hose was molded into, and the plastic housing sits on a metal tube that comes out of the engine, and that's what attaches the rubber hose to the metal tube, is that plastic housing, and it's called like a quick connect, which now I know all this stuff and I sound really expertise on this, but anyway, I didn't realize at the time, because everything was fucking hot, I didn't realize that quick connect, that plastic housing can just spin. It can just rotate freely, right? And it won't come off. So once I realized that, I was like, oh, okay. So then I rotated it like maybe 180, and I saw that there was this like metal clasp that was molded into the plastic that had just a little bit of a ridge on it, to where if you had a flat screwdriver, you could get that under that ridge, pop it up, and then it would let go of the metal tube. And I was like, oh great, I have a screwdriver. So once I figured that part out, I was like, okay, fine. So I got my screwdriver, popped it off, great. The metal pipe from the engine, it had like, at the very end of the metal pipe, there was maybe like half an inch worth of one diameter of pipe. And then there was a section further in that was like a very large like rim almost like on a pop bottle, like the plastic rim on the like where the lid screws down. There's that like plastic rim around it. It was very much like that, and then it went back down to another. And basically, that larger rim is what the coupling like held onto, right? So I was like, okay, if I can just like what's left of the rubber hose, if I can just pull that over to the metal pipe, get it like around the metal pipe, and then maybe get a clamp on it, I can at least drive closer to home and not have to pay for a tow truck for this distance. Or maybe actually that wasn't my first thought. Wasn't to just put a clamp on it. My first thought was actually just like I've got this one side off. Now I need to get the other side off, or figure out how to get the other side off, so that way I can put a replacement hose on. And then I was like, well, shit, first I need to search to see if there's a replacement hose anywhere. Search for that part. Of course, the original part's been discontinued, so you can find it online, specialty stores, but it's like 5-day shipping. I was like, well, I'm not doing that, clearly. But there has been a replacement part made, like it's superseded the original part. It's more readily available, but like none of the part stores that were within 2 miles of me had it.
Yeah.
And thankfully there were 2 auto parts stores within a mile of me. So that was really nice. I think one of the stores did have it in the city, but it was like other side of Louisville. I'm not making that. I'm also not going to do like a Uber and leave my car here. And I'm not doing any of that. So, I was like, okay, I'm just going to maybe try to get just a hose that's similar sized, but I still have to take the rest of this hose off. I have to take it off of the radiator side, the part that's still attached. I've only removed the one side. Well, I couldn't get to it. It's like underneath part of the front of the car. I'd have to take more of the car apart. It's getting darker. I'm like, I don't want to deal with this either. So that's whenever I decided, I was like, okay, if I can just like stretch whatever slack I have left in the hose, then I can maybe get a pipe clamp. So yeah, so that was the plan B. So I did. So I didn't have a pipe clamp on me, hose clamp. But what I did do is I researched like those 2 auto parts stores that were nearby. I was like, one of these places has to have a pipe clamp, hose clamp. And sure enough, they had exactly the size that I needed. It's like, great, okay. I was like, just to get over there, I want to at least whatever foggy breath worth of coolant is left in my system, I at least want that to stay in the system. so I'm gonna so I did push the hose, and I got it over there. And also I wanted to make sure that the hose would actually fit, the diameter would actually fit around, That all worked. So okay, put that back together as best I could. I had to drive a mile down like side streets in a city where every other block is a stoplight. And I told my friend, I was like, okay, I guess we're going to try this. And if it gets super hot, I'll just have to stop and just let it cool down and then start again. We'll just have to go real slow, I guess. So it was the longest mile in my life. I didn't have to stop, but I just didn't go any faster than 20, Yeah. So it was super long time to get over there. It felt like, at least. Plus all the stoplights. So pull in the parking lot. Great. Go inside. I get the clamp, and I get 2 gallons of coolant, knowing that I have to use at least, probably one of those. Right. So that wasn't too bad. It was only I think each gallon was $10, and then the clamps were $5. So it wasn't a huge expense, right? And I got 2 clamps because I was like, I'm gonna fucking put them both on. So get back outside. I stretched that hose over, and on the end of the rubber hose, where it had broken off from that plastic piece, there was a metal band on the outside of the rubber. I don't know if it was a strain relief. I don't know what purpose it served other than to just be in the way. But I also knew that because it was right at the edge, right at the end of the rubber hose. And I didn't have but half an inch of slack in the hose to pull it over. So I didn't have much hose to work with to make this connection go. So I knew that metal band being in the way, I was like, I'm not going to be able to crimp that metal band down, and I couldn't get it off. It was on there. not like molded into it, but it was just so tight I just couldn't get it off. So I'm just gonna throw 2 clamps on it and just hope.
Hope for the best. Yeah.
So that's what I did, and the whole time in the parking lot, it's getting darker and darker, and there was a guy on like behind us in the other on the other side of the parking lot, who was doing some kind of brake job on his car, and he had like the big jack out there and everything, like in the parking lot, breaking it down, and like every 3 minutes, I'm assuming his wife, girlfriend, this was an older gentleman, like 50s or 60s. Somebody who he called the B word many times would call him every 3 minutes to ask him where he was at and what he was doing. And then apparently accuse him of fucking around, because he would answer it and be like, beep, I'm not fucking around. I'm over here changing my brakes. Beep. You mother, but just as loud as possible, and he'd hang up and be like, "God damn that woman, that shit, back trying to do the brakes in the car," and then fucking like 3 minutes later, he'd ring again. God damn it, woman! And he'd answer, "What do you want, bitch? Just shut the fuck up." Just that was the whole like 12, 15 minutes that I was there. It was like 3 phone calls. I'm just
Good
like
relationship.
I'm just like, oh gosh, this is great. So anyway, so I get enough of the hose onto the metal pipe that's left. I get 2 clamps on there as tight as I possibly can. Thankfully, I had like a ratchet set, and there was just enough room for me to get everything inside there and get really tightened down. And then I put in a whole gallon's worth of coolant just to and I probably could actually use more, but it took it all. Then I let it run. Well, actually, I went back inside. I was like, I'm going to go buy 1 more gallon, because I don't know how many times I'm going to have to do this on the road. So I'm just going to have 2 gallons at my disposal. So I got that, and then we sat there in the parking lot for like 5 minutes and just let it run. I was like, I just want to let it run. I wanted to check it for like leaks, if it was like spraying fucking liquid everywhere. I wanted to know before I left the city. I wanted to know what state I was going to be in because between Louisville and here, I mean Louisville and fucking Evansville, there's nothing, right? There's a couple of like little tiny small towns off the interstate, but they're not on the interstate, so there's just nothing. So once you get out there, like you're on your own for a bit. And yeah, it dripped once. And I only know because like that was the only like drip spot, and I don't even know if it dripped after I put the hose clamp on it, because I didn't really check before I turned it on. So that drip could have been from whenever I took it off, the first time. So yeah, there's just like 1 drip of coolant below where I buttoned everything up, and I was like, okay, I feel okay with this. I don't see any leaks. Like I mean, even like a steady drip, I would have probably sent it and just been like, well, every 40 miles, I'm just going to top it off. But yeah, nothing. So I felt okay. So yeah, we left and we drove back, and I took it easy on the highway. I didn't want to like accelerate, too aggressively anywhere. And the heat in the car came back. It was nice and toasty in there. It was great. Started listening to my friend had never heard of Monsters Among Us, so we started to listen to Monsters Among Us.
Oh yeah, I haven't listened to that in a while.
I haven't either. It's been probably over a year. And
was
I was
it
just
like a newer episode?
Yeah, it was whatever the newest one was.
Still doing it, huh?
Yeah.
That's good.
So we're listening to that, and it was like I think it was like an hour and 20 or hour to 30 minute, hour 40 minute episode, something like it was over an hour. I'll say that much. So going down the interstate, cruising just fine. And the whole time I'm like, I'm paranoid, of course, because I'm waiting for my fix to fail, because that's just the mindset I was in. I just want to be on as soon as anything changes on the gauges, I want to be aware of it. So I had like a different set of instrument like gauges on the screen pulled up that was more like focused on just the coolant and like the engine temp and everything. And I'm just like watching it, and I'm like, anytime that it gets over like the halfway mark on the gauge, I'm gonna like start to grip the wheel a little bit more. And of course, the interstate where I'm traveling, there's a lot of hills, up and down. So you got to like really like, the engine gets a workout, especially my car that doesn't like up and down hills a lot. So anytime that we go up a hill, of course, the engine's just working a little bit harder, and it gets real close to like halfway point, right. And halfway is normal on my gauge, but I'm just being really aware of, like what halfway is, right? It gets a little bit. It gets a little bit over halfway, and then of course we hit the top of the hill, and then the engine kind of calms that down again, so the coolant does its thing, and the temp gauge goes back down a little bit. So I'm okay. Podcast is going great. A couple spooky stories. There was one about this lady whose hand started to glow whenever she saw the spirit, or saw a hallucination of a friend of hers who had dementia or Alzheimer's. She saw this person talking to her remotely, and this lady's hand started to glow, and the lady, her friend, who was the hallucination, said, "Come see me." And she felt some kind of connection, and she went to see her, and that lady started to talking, like she had been nonverbal for like a while, and that lady started to just like talk to her. And she said that she lived for like 3 more weeks, and every single time that she went to talk to this lady or visit, she would talk, and she never talked to anyone else or whatever. So it's kind of a cool story. So driving, I think it's like we're like 15 miles from the exit of where my friend parked their car, which is still the absolute middle of nowhere. Even like the tiny town that my friend parked their car in is like the town closes at like 7:30, right? And it's already like, it's almost 7. I think it's like 6. Mm-hmm. It's been about an hour on the road. I think we left. Sorry, there's a time change in there too. So it's 6. Oh, it's like 7 local time. Because we left Louisville like a little bit after 6 o'clock Louisville time. So so it's a little bit before 7 local time, where it's been about an hour of driving, and there's some light traffic on the highway, but nothing crazy. And I'm not passing anyone. I'm letting everyone pass me, right? Because I'm just like, I'm not like just go around, like like I'm barely hitting 70. And that's only if it's flat or downhill. If it's uphill, I'm just like, whatever we can manage to keep this temp. I'm really doctoring the car. And I look up into my rearview mirror as there's a car approaching behind me. So the headlights are, shining on me. And it looks like I'm driving down a dirt road. There's just a billowing cloud behind me. And I go, "Oh shit," out loud. I'm like, "Oh shit, what is that?" And of course, my friend freaks out because we're listening to a podcast about monsters and ghosts. And it's the middle of the night. And I'm like, I don't know, something isn't right. And pause this story. So the week before this incident, I was driving around here locally. And it's
so this is our I bet you wondering how I got into this situation moment.
Well, no, it's more like I bet you wondering why I had this gaslighting of myself. A week or so before this event, I'm driving around here locally, and the roads and highways have all been cleared of the recent snowstorm, right? But there are still like a lot of like residual salt on roads.
Yeah.
And it was a sunny day, but it was very cold. And I was driving down the highway after work, and there was like this big cloud of like, it looked like gravel dust or whatever, like it on the highway in front of me. And I couldn't figure out like, what the fuck is that? And I happened to look over at the other lane eventually as a car was driving by, and I noticed that like cars were and I then realized myself whenever I looked behind me, we were all picking up the salt dust on the highway and just like flinging it into the air. And there was just so much of it that if there were like 3 or 4 cars in a row, that was enough to like create a temporary like haze in the air that like, you know, drifted with the wind. Okay, so fast forward to last week. Look in the rearview mirror and I see this like billowing cloud of like country road gravel dirt behind me through the headlights of another car. And my first thought was like, oh fuck, that's not good. And I said, oh shit, out loud. And then I quickly rationalized, maybe it's just the road salt. Maybe it's just, maybe it's just a cloud of road salt. Because again, no gauges. I've been watching the thermostat on my car, eyeballing it, not going up, doing great. Podcast is going great. It's all going good. I didn't hear anything. And then I can't really give you the timing of this. In my head, it was a longer duration, but maybe it was like very, very quick. So I see the billowing plume behind me. I go, oh shit, that's not good. Maybe it's the road salt? My friend goes, what? And I go, something's behind us like a cloud, but maybe it's the road salt? The temp gauge is fine. Oh crap. And when I say oh crap, the heat that we had been enjoying suddenly just cuts out and it's just cold air suddenly. And I'm like, oh crap, it happened again. So, and as soon as I say, oh crap, it happened again, it gets cold. I say the heat's gone. And then my temp gauge just fucking almost red. It didn't get to red. It didn't say stop. It got really hot. So I slowly, I pulled over on the interstate. And just clouds of fog, So shut the engine off. I'm like, okay, I guess I have to let it cool. I guess it came back off again. And yeah, so I had to let it cool for like half an hour because it was just so warm, so hot. Driving for like an hour straight at highway speeds, right? So what had happened, that metal band that I mentioned on the rubber hose that I knew I couldn't crimp down, even though I put 2 clamps on it, there wasn't enough metal pipe for that second clamp to do anything. That metal band was in the way. Whenever it got hot enough and just enough steam and moisture, it just worked everything off, basically. The clamp, everything just slid off of the metal pipe. But thankfully, it also slid that metal band off of the rubber hose. So I lost one of the hose clamps. Not physically, not like it disappeared. I couldn't use it anymore. Like I wasn't able to untighten it or tighten it. It just was stuck where it was at. Because it had that metal band. It was like around that metal band, and that metal band, I don't know, it broke the damn thing. Anyway. But the other clamp was still good, still there. So I was able, after letting it cool down for a while, I had no flashlight except for my phone. My friend was in the car. It was fucking freezing cold. Cars driving by us every, 2 minutes or so. I was on a slight hill. Again, no artificial light other than headlights occasionally. Just pitch black. I was finally able to get everything cranked down again with the one pipe clamp. I felt better this time because that metal band was in the way. I actually pinched the hose like a good amount around the pipe. So I felt good. I was like, okay, awesome. So filled it back up with the remaining gallon of coolant. And again, I'm only 12 miles from the exit to my friend's car. And I told him, I was like, okay, I'm going to get to your car. I'm going to check it there because it'll be in a parking lot. I'll feel safer, than here. But I'll check it there in 10 miles, 15 miles. And if it still looks good, then I'll drive home. If I can tell that it's going to quickly come off again, I'm just going to leave my car here and have someone that I know back, in my town come get me or whatever. So that was the plan. So get off the interstate, and the car is not parked on the car is parked on in a town that's 7 miles away from the interstate. So it's more, 2-lane middle of nowhere roads to get to this place. The whole time just please, just get me there. We finished the Monsters Among Us podcast episode. Get to the parking lot. It's still firm, good. Everything's great. So okay, I'm just gonna go home. I still don't want to pay for a tow truck for even an hour because I still had an hour to go. I was only halfway. But at least the rest of my journey was through relatively decent sized small towns. It wasn't like middle of nowhere interstate. So I knew that if I, got stranded or whatever, I was just like a couple miles from the next place where I could pull over and park in a parking lot and not be. My main worry was like having to leave my car on the side of the highway or something. I didn't want to do that. So I felt okay enough. And the closer I get to home, the more comfortable I'm like feeling about having to pay for a tow if I have to, So I'm just going to go, whatever. But I did make it home fine. It didn't come off again at all. It was that night, I should say. I got home. I was just tired. I was just mentally exhausted and also physically. It was just a long day. I mean, we walked for like 4 hours straight. Plus, I got home at like 9 o'clock at night. So I'd been in the car for, in the car except for the 5 hours, except for the 4 hours, for almost 12 hours. 13 hours. It's just been a long day. So I was just dead. Whatever. Get inside, crash. Sunday, I didn't even move the car. I was just like, I'm going to worry about this Monday. Whatever. Monday morning to go to work. I knew that I had to get up early enough to like just check. So I did. It still looked okay. The connection was still where I thought I remembered it being at the day before, Saturday night, whenever I last fixed it. So, okay, I feel okay to go to work. It's only a 10-minute drive. And it's not ever out of town. I'm basically in town the whole time. So if I get, fucked or whatever, I'm fine. So get to work. Nothing seems wrong. After work, I go home, as you do. But I remembered that I was like, oh crap, I didn't do anything. I usually go grocery shopping on Sunday. I didn't do that. So I was like, oh crap, I need to go to the store. So I ended up having to go out of my normal route all the way across town to the store. Did that, got to the store, yada yada yada. Left the store. Not really thinking about my car. I think I'm in the same like everything's fine mindset that I was in as I was driving down the parking garage ramps. And like 2 blocks from my house, fucking just cloud of fog again. It came off again. So that came up. So I had to fix it again. Tuesday, I fixed it again. So Tuesday I drove to work, right? And I'm like, okay, this time I'm going to go to work. I'm going to go home. That is it, right? Okay, so it's time to leave for work. And my boss mentions Taco Tuesday. And I'm like, man, tacos do sound pretty good. and I go, you know what? I'm just going to zip over on the way home. I'm going to zip over. Shut up. I'm going to zip over to Taco Bell. Just I'll pre-order on the app so that way it's fast. Go through.
Yeah, I do the same. Yeah.
Go through, grab my tacos, go home, be done. Be fine.
It is Taco Tuesday after all.
It's Taco Tuesday. So as I'm driving over there to Taco Bell, I think to myself, I probably shouldn't do this. I should probably just go home. I should probably not chance it in a fucking
That's
drive-thru.
in the one thought bubble above your head, but then the other one with the tacos pops up.
It's Taco Tuesday. You've already ordered it. You've already placed the order.
And then the one with you thinking I shouldn't do this popped.
No, it was always there.
No,
it was always there. It was always like, I don't know if this is a good idea. So get to, I drive through town, and the first false flag was that I didn't hit any stoplights all the way through town. No traffic, so I didn't have to like start and stop. I just coasted all the way through on our brand new, very smooth main road through town. It was great. Because my one worry was like, as you know, like just before you get to Taco Bell here in town, there's like that hill, And that was my worry. If I had to stop at that stoplight and then go up the hill, I was like, oh God, I didn't. So I was like, great, we're smooth sailing, right? I can just coast up the hill. And then whenever I got to the top of the hill, my second false flag of hope was that the Taco Bell drive-thru was empty. I was like, oh, even great. I don't have to wait for someone else. I can just say, hey, order, Will, great, pull around, get it, fucking go. All right. So I do that. Hey, Will, yeah, great. Okay, pull forward. Will do. I pull forward, and the kid leans out the window and goes, hey, it'll actually be a few minutes. And I'm going, the other bubble that you said pop and I said didn't. It goes, yeah, see, this is exactly what we're talking about. You shouldn't have stopped here because it's going to take a few minutes. And I was like, oh, no, it'll be fine. Okay, he says. So he goes in and does his thing. I'm thinking a few minutes is like 1 or 2, right? And I think to myself, I should probably just shut the car off, right? Just don't even chance it. Just shut it off. Don't let it sit here. 1, just sitting here getting hot, but also 2, running any more than it has to, right? Just shut it off. A third bubble comes up and goes, nah, don't do that. Because if you do that, you shut it off, you're going to turn it back on again as soon as he opens the window. Just keep it on, right? So I keep it on. And sure enough, that like few minutes is like a literal like few minutes, like 5 minutes. He's like taking forever. And I'm just like, oh, like, come on, like, come the fuck on. Like, and so far my car is just like fine. And then I see like a little like wisp of fog come out the front of my hood. And I go like, oh God, please just come on. I'm like 6 minutes from my house with traffic, and most of that stop signs. And I look inside like the little window thing, and this fucking kid's just sitting there not doing anything. So he must be waiting on someone else. And I'm like, oh God, here we go. And then about that time that I go, oh God, I just hear what sounds like a water balloon just bursting, just like liquid going everywhere. And then this huge cloud of steam like comes out of the car, and it's like fogging all over Taco Bell drive-thru window and everything. And it just smells like hot coolant. And I'm just like, oh, come on. Get my fucking tacos. And it was another like 30 or 40 seconds after that he finally like was like, here you go. So I was like, fuck. So now I'm like, do I sit here in the parking lot with my food and try to wait for this to, cool off and then fix it? Or do I just try to make it home? This is like a very quick thought that I had. And I decide, again, because Tuesday's about bad decisions, clearly. I go, just go home. Just fucking, we'll worry about it when we get closer to home. So my mom lives in between me and Taco Bell, at least distance-wise, It's about halfway. So I was like, actually, I'm going to just stop over at her house, in front of her house. That way I know there's a place to park that's, I'm not going to like freak someone out by parking in front of their house or whatever weird thing. I'll just park there. I'll get there, park there, fix it, and go home. So that's what I did. I did that. It was a quick fix. No further issues. But then Wednesday I was like, yeah, I'm going to have to get this car in. And so I didn't go to work. I didn't drive in Wednesday, of course. But, yeah, that was that saga. That was chapter 1. The whole thing was chapter 1. Chapter 2 is short, but it's that I had called the dealership that I purchased my car from. I get most of my maintenance done here in town. I called them and said, hey, this is the issue. The upper radiator hose broke off. I need it replaced. The guy was like, hey, bring it in tomorrow morning. We'll take care of it. I was like, fantastic, great. So I dropped my car off. I drove my car over Wednesday morning before work. And I got picked up from the dealership to go to work. So dropped my car off at 8 o'clock in the morning, like right after they open. I get a call from them at like 3:30 in the afternoon. And I'm thinking that like, okay, it's done. No. The guy calls and goes, hey, what was it again that was wrong with your car that we needed to look at? And I was like, oh, well, it's the upper radiator. And I thought he had like knew this already because he asked me these questions and I told him, and I just assumed like they wrote it down or whatever, you know. I said, oh, it's the upper radiator hose. I was like, you could clearly see it. I have like pipe clamps or hose clamps on it. Like it's pretty easy to see. Oh, okay, yeah, well, it was just sitting here and we weren't quite sure what was wrong with it. Okay, yeah, we'll call you in a bit. Okay, sure, whatever, you know. So 30 minutes later or so, like closer to 4, I get a call again. And again, I'm thinking like, you know, I can't imagine how long this takes, you know, just to put a hose on it or whatever. So they call back and go, okay, yeah, so we figured out that your upper radiator hose is broke off. And I go, yeah. And they said, yeah, the fix that you did with the hose clamps, that's not going to work long term. And I said, yeah, this just happened Saturday. That was just to get me back from Louisville. Oh, okay, yeah, that's just not going to work. Yeah, so we're going to have to replace all of that hose. I was like, okay, yeah. So what's going on?
So go ahead.
And he goes, well, we looked at it, and for the hose, we're going to have to get 2 hoses and splice them together. And, you know, once I do that and, you know, we put coolant back in it, you know, parts and labor, we're looking at $495. And I was like, oh, okay. Can I call you right back? He goes, yeah, sure. I said, are you guys open until 5? Yeah, it was like a little after 4 or almost 4. He said, okay. So I hung up and I was like, fucking $500, because that's before tax. I was like, $500 for this fucking, this is like a foot long piece of 1-inch rubber hose. Yeah. I'm like, what the fuck? So I get online. Because when I was searching it before, how to take it off and like where it was at, I didn't really like mentally log how expensive this part was whenever the part popped up, right? Because again, the part was available at other like auto places, just not nearby to where I was at the time. So I searched it again, and like the fucking hose is like $40. And I'm like, maybe I'm not looking at the right thing. You know, like this is the dealership. I mean, I'm just the idiot, right? And rightfully so, I am the guy who doesn't know. So I call him back and I go, hey, can you just run that process by me again? Like, just break it down one more time. I know you just did, but I just, you know, want to make sure that I'm on the same page and everything. He says, yeah, okay. He says, we're going to have to take 2 hoses and splice it together because they don't make the hose that originally goes on there. I was like, yeah, I saw that you know, the original hose is discontinued. He goes, yeah. So we're going to put 2 together and this, that, and the other. And I go, okay, do you have a price on that? And he says, well, I don't really know exactly what part we're going to use because the parts guy just left for the day. But I think he said this or something, and that's about $230. And I go, oh, okay. And then how long do you think it's going to take? And he goes, well, probably, you know, by the time I put it on and then put some more coolant back in it, probably about 2 hours. I'm going like, okay. So, and he's like, so can we go ahead and get that? Because I have to order it now for it to be here tomorrow. And I'm like, you know what? No, I'm just going to have to do it myself, I guess. I'm going to have to figure something else out. I just can't afford that. I was being polite with it, you know?
Yeah.
And he goes, oh. And then he gets real quiet. And he's like, well, do you want me to like put it back together and put coolant back in it now? I was like, you can or you don't have to. I was like, I can go to Walmart and get a 10-gallon or a gallon of coolant for $10 and just put my pipe clamp back on. I'm fine with doing that myself. Or you guys can. Doesn't matter to me any. And he goes, oh, okay. Well, I mean, we've already got like an hour's worth of work in it. And that was whenever I wanted to like throw my phone to the fucking wall. Because I was like, you guys just called me 35 minutes ago asking me what was wrong with my car. I had to tell you what was wrong with my car again. And I know that you know, auto places have minimums. Like, you know, you have to have like no matter what, you're paying the minimum for service as far as, whatever they do, no matter how fast it is. I get that. But what really irked me was that there's no way that what happened in 30 minutes was them doing any sort of labor, because I just told them what was wrong with it.
Yeah.
So anyway, so he's like, well, so you'll have to pay that. And I go, yeah, I get it. That's fine. And then that was it. So I went over and got my car after they didn't do anything. And it was like $140 just to have them tell me that my hose needed to be replaced. And I was like, oh my gosh. So yeah, so here it is now, Friday, almost a week later. And thankfully I have a hopeful replacement coming tomorrow. And I'll get that put on. It'll probably take me a while. My dad might be able to assist a little bit if he's free. But yeah, so just that's been my week. It's between my own crap at work, my own crap in my personal life, and then the world. Yeah, it's been like 9 months since we last talked, and it's not been fun. And I saw a bunch of dead things in jars. So that's
that was the high point.
It was the oddities thing was actually really fun. It was just marred by, and
everything around it.
And I did say this to my friend and my dad and like everyone who I've told this. The mechanical failure of my car could not have happened in a better place.
Yeah.
Like I
remember you texting me that part. Yeah.
Yeah. I was like, it could have happened at any point in time on the drive there, and that would have literally have ruined the whole day. Like we already purchased our tickets to go to this thing. So it wasn't like we bought them at the door. So that would have ruined that if it happened anywhere before we even got there. It could have happened anywhere on the drive home, and me not having anything as far as replacement coolant or hose clamps or whatever to fix it. And then I would have really been fucked in the middle of the night. The fact that it happened like in the parking garage, meaning I didn't have to really stop anywhere as far as that went. And then whenever I actually did truly realize that something was wrong, I was only a mile away from an auto parts store. Like I said, it just could not have happened in a better place. So for that, I guess that, that's like the one silver lining. So it's not, that part wasn't as bad. The part that sucked was just like taking it to a place that I only took it to the dealership because I thought it had to be something special because of that part that broke. Not just like a standard hose. And because I figured they are going to be faster at this than me. So I'm really just paying, for that. And I would have paid like $200, fine. I would have paid like, even if you consider like a markup on the part, on that one hose, which is $40, even you consider like, that costing like $100 itself, 120 or whatever. And then labor being about 140, 260, 280, I'm fine with, that it hurts, it stings. But I would have probably have just been like, fine, do it. If you can do it in like 45 minutes and I get the car the same day. But the fact that like my car would have been in there for 2 days and it was already there for 8 hours, again, if they would have called me that morning and had the part, instead they're calling me like right before they close to get a part maybe the next day.
The whole day they were just like, do you know why the car is here?
Yeah, I mean, granted, there are other things wrong with my car, but that, those are the things that are not pressing.
I remember a guy called me yesterday. He had something. I guess that's the car. I don't know. I don't remember what he said.
So that was like the first red flag. Is whenever he called me and was like, "Yeah, can you tell us what was wrong with your car?" That was the first like, well, that doesn't suit well with me. Like I don't like that, because as any mechanic should have been able to. Well, one, they like the notes that they took on me calling in the first time.
Presumably, yeah.
And even whenever I dropped off the car that morning, I said, "Hey, I'm Will. I have the 200 radiator hose." He's like, "Yeah, radiator hose. We got you. See ya." And that was it. So, I mean, but even then, any person with who's getting paid $140 an hour to do any kind of work on a car should be able to open that car and be like, "Oh, there's a hardware store appliance that's been attached to this thing. That might be where the problem is." Yeah, I don't know. Like I said, there are other things. Like I have an exhaust issue. It's very loud right now. so maybe they were distracted by that. Maybe they thought that was the thing that I needed fixed. I don't know. But anyway, so that was the first red flag. And then the call back 30 minutes later.
Your entire car needs replaced. What was it?
What was the one thing? Yeah, no. And again, I'm... that is a very big possibility of, or there's a high likelihood that is what actually happened.
Yeah.
But like the whole note taking thing and telling me again, that, oh yeah, hose, yeah, we got it. But then also,
and the part that you also just said, where when you dropped it off, you went in and said, "Oh yeah, I'm here for this specific thing."
Yeah,
I called yesterday.
Also, the part where like again, it took them from 8 a.m. until 3:30 a.m. to call me about it, which. Maybe they were swamped or whatever, but don't tell me to drop my car off in the morning.
Yeah.
If you're not, whatever. So, there was just like a lot of like, this doesn't feel great already. And then to tell me that it was going to be $500, I was like, no, it's not going to be. It's like, I'll just walk, I guess. I don't care. So that's been the week. And like I said, the oddities thing was fun. It really was. It was really like everything that I saw there, I was like, this is awesome. This is so cool. I think you would have enjoyed parts of it. There's like a lot of the dead animal part that you probably wouldn't have liked at all. I guess unless you're weirdly into that secretly. They were all expired on their own on their own terms.
I'm against killing animals, but like I really love seeing the dead bodies.
I love seeing the results though.
The parts are good.
Yeah. So there's like a lot of like stuff I don't know if you would have liked, but there's a lot of like cool like medical history stuff like that. Like that was like kind of cool. Like there was a whole like bin of like X-rays from like the 1950s, like actual real human X-rays that you could just buy the films of, and they were like $3 for $10, and I almost got a lot of them, but all the good ones had been picked through. It was interesting. Like I said, I really enjoyed myself. That's like up my alley. I love seeing dead things. I love seeing dead things in jars. And then like the fries that I had afterward, the fries were so fucking good, man. Like that place, it's called Smashburger. It's just like a chain restaurant. There's nothing special about this place.
Oh yeah, I recognize that name.
If you have one nearby, I highly recommend the rosemary. They're called the smash fries. They're just rosemary garlic butter, I think. But they were really good. They were so good. They smelled amazing. So yeah, that was all great. And then even like I said, the repair part sucked, like the immediate repair. But I also felt good having repaired it myself temporarily. That was like, I was like, okay, I did that. I didn't have to spend 4 hours doing it and yelling at somebody on a phone every 3 minutes like that one guy did. So yeah, it was all in all good. I mean, it sucked, but it was good. And even being on the side of the highway wasn't horrible. It was, definitely like nerve wracking. But
your friend's like, "Hey, everything going all right?" You're like, "Bitch, shut the fuck
up." I'm not fucking around. Yeah, I think the one phrase that I almost laughed, I had to like kind of close my eyes and bite my tongue, was he said something like, and I can only assume, the other side of the conversation. But his response was, "I don't fuck around. I'm not a fuck around. I told you I'm replacing some brakes. I'm not fucking around." So clearly I assume that whoever this was on the other side said, "You're just fucking around."
Yeah. You're at Tina's place, aren't you?
Yeah, something. Yeah.
Yeah.
It was entertaining and scary. So that was all fine, but it was really just like, the which I mean, you've been in this predicament before of like knowing you need to like potentially fork up a lot of money for a car repair and just being like, I hate having to do this. That mindset.
Yeah.
For a couple
famously,
days.
I love spending money on car things.
Yeah, famously, yeah. So that was like my Monday and Tuesday, and then I was hopeful that Taco Tuesday was going to be a high point from my previous couple days of misery, and it was only made worse because I was weak for tacos. But yeah, so I mean, and then just like I said, that whole stress plus work. There was the turkey.
That's what we call him, Will the Taco Slut.
Yeah,
That's what we call him.
That's what I call myself. There was a turkey thing last week. Are or was it 2 weeks ago? I can't remember now. Did I talk about that on last episode? I don't think I did. I told you about
Definitely
it.
not. No. Yeah,
Yeah.
I do have text messages, including a still image.
A turkey
that I
flew
was
over a highway and a semi truck smashed it, and it exploded the windshield. Yeah, and that person was like the person driving that truck was very shaken, and they were also like injured from the glass shrapnel that like exploded on them.
Yeah, it's no good.
A couple days before that, there was a wreck involving 2 vehicles that I had to deal with, and then today.
This was Thursday, or no, this was Friday, February 6th. That you
like a week ago.
sent
Yeah.
me this 1 week ago. Yeah.
So
Send
then
me that picture.
So then today, there was another accident that was a hit and run. Essentially, the person who ran was the vehicle, the like pedestrian, like the 4-wheel car vehicle, not one of the trucks. And we got it all on video, of course. No damage to us, but the guy just like comes in and was like, "Hey, this happened. Can you find the video?" So I found it, and then he was. We couldn't really read like the license plate or anything. It wasn't clear enough. But I was basically tasked with like calling the state police of another state to tell them about it, just in case. It's like, hey, like our driver stopped, to try to take care of this. The other guy drove off. We just want to make you aware in case anyone tries to pin this on us or whatever, later on. But so that wasn't the problem. Wasn't talking to the police. The problem was figuring out how to talk to the police, because I had to call like 3 different numbers, 2 of which the information that I found online from the official department's website was wrong. And then because it was after like 4:00 or whatever on a Friday, no one was there to answer my call, which, I mean, it wasn't like an emergency. I wasn't trying to reach, like someone right now. The wreck happened like an hour before.
See, and all these libs want to defund the police.
Yeah.
They don't even have anybody working there. They don't have the right information.
Yeah.
We need a bonus fund.
They need to update their website. So I had to, excuse me. I had to go through like one of those phone trees, push this number for this. I had to listen to all those multiple times. And I was just wanting to like talk to a person, or even just like, I guess like I was okay with leaving a message. I just didn't know who to leave a message with, because every option on the phone tree was, other than like, there was one option of like, if you need an officer right now, press this number. And I was like, well, I don't need that, because this is not like this didn't happen right now. It happened like an hour ago, and I don't really need to use resources for basically me to tell somebody, hey, this happened. If you need more information, call us.
Yeah.
So that was all I wanted to do. I wanted someone at a desk, not someone who was like, in a patrol car,
Geared up, ready to
go. Yeah. So I finally found like an option that sounded close to what I needed. It rang and rang and rang, and I almost hung up. And then I was like, well, maybe there's an answer machine. And sure enough, finally, like after like 20 rings, it finally was like, you've reached the desk of Trooper blah 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 blah. Please leave a message after. So I did that. So that was fun. Meanwhile, like most of the office is gone already because everyone leaves early on Friday. So I'm just like, well, my Friday's going great so far. Oh, plus I forgot. So I did drive in today and yesterday. I forgot to mention that. So Wednesday was the day that I dropped the car off that morning. I got the car back in my possession after basically paying $140 to park it somewhere else.
Yes.
I got the car back in my possession. I put the clamp back on, and I told myself, no tacos, no grocery store. You're going to go to work and back home. That's it. And then every day you're going to check it before you move. So Thursday was fine. I drove to work and drove back. Thursday was fine. You vanished. Uh-oh. I'll keep talking, I guess.
Uh-huh.
Hey, you're back. I kept talking, so you can try to edit that out or not. Technical difficulties. So Thursday I drove to work, came back home, fine. I checked the clamp attachment multiple times. I did notice that like I could only drive to work and drive back. Almost as soon as I got back home, it was already starting to come off again. So that was like my own, like the duration was just to work, park all day, drive home, that was the duration that clamp connection was going to hold. No more than that.
Huh.
So then this morning I left, and I'm in this habit of every Friday I do not take my lunch to work because I'll go out and get something for lunch. So without thinking, I did that again. So I'm sitting there at work like an hour before lunch, and I go, oh, fuck, I don't have anything to eat here at work. I didn't bring anything. And we're going to have Taco Tuesday all over again. So I decided before I went to the gas station, which is the closest thing, to get like a sandwich, I was like, I'm going to check the connection. And, I did end up putting another clamp on it too. So I had 2 on there again. But anyway, I've just been really paranoid about doing anything extra. So I've made it to Friday now. I came really close to not even doing this because I was just like, I don't fucking feel like talking. But clearly, I guess getting it off my chest has helped. But yeah, so that's been, to answer your question of almost 90 minutes ago, that's been what I've been up to, is fucking just suck. It's just,
oh my God. I didn't know that it's been an hour and 20 minutes.
Yeah, of me venting about my about my horrible experiences and bad choices
of the past 14 days almost.
It's really just sucked. And then like I said, on top of that, except for the last couple days this week, or maybe it was actually earlier this week. Anyway, I've only had a couple days where it's been above freezing, much like yourself. And it's just been snowy, and that either means it's like blindingly bright white, so whenever you are outside, you just cannot see, or it's been cloudy and just dreary and white and gray and cold. And that's just been the past, that's actually been like the past month, because it was almost a month ago that storm happened. So all of that, it's just February has sucked dick so far.
So sometimes on my drive home, I'll listen to BBC radio, and I've learned just recently that I think the southeast, maybe part of the United Kingdom, I think just recently broke their record-setting longest stretch of time without any sunlight, without a sunny day.
Oh, gosh.
There hadn't been a sunny day there in I think over a month or something. I think that just came to an end this week. I think I heard. Yeah, I think it had been 25 days or 26 days or something without any sunlight.
I love like gloomy, stormy weather. Like if there's a storm coming, but it's kind of gloomy, some breeze. I don't like whenever it's just gloom.
Mm-hmm.
It just I don't know. I need sun. I need a little bit of something happening in the atmosphere.
Yeah, I saw many people a few months ago on the Manchester subreddit describe Manchester winters as, quote, grim.
Grim, yeah, right.
Yeah, many people, and a lot of people were recommending getting like vitamin D supplements and like using a therapy lamp
and maybe that's like what's been wrong with me too, as far as like my like this past, like I said, like not even counting like the car shit. I've just been like fucking just depressed for the past 3 weeks, and also it's because like, what's that?
I said I've noticed. I think I've noticed.
Well, it's also been because like the fucking world's ran by pedophile cannibals.
Yes.
And there's absolutely nothing anyone can do about that, and they're never going to face any kind of justice that's worthy of anything, let alone any justice. There's that. There's the fact that we're living in the fucking Third Reich again, and then I don't know. Everything's expensive. Everything's going to hell. Like AI is like ruining everything in more ways than anyone can imagine.
Hey, but the GDP is up. Well,
it is now. See, it wasn't 2 weeks ago. That's a very new thing.
Well, speaking of that specifically, I mentioned to you, obviously in private, that I discovered this new rap group.
Yeah.
Bob Villain, for all the listeners out there.
Is that a Bob
Vylan
reference? Bob Vila? Bob Vila?
I assumed it was a Bob Dylan riff.
You know what? Yeah. I thought it was a reference to a guy from PBS who used to do woodworking, and you're like, no, there's a musician whose name that's closer
Bob
to
Dylan.
Yeah,
yeah. Yeah, that's what I would assume. Although I can't confirm. You could be right, as far as I'm aware.
Say the name again.
Bob Vylan. Vylan. I assume it's Bob Vylan. That's the only way I've assumed. It would
what?
be
I bet you're
pronounced.
right.
I've also not heard it pronounced from somebody. It's just what I read it in my head. But I was going to say they have a song on their first album called GDP, and what is it? The lyrics, the chorus of it says something along the lines of like,
it's a gorgeous dill pickles.
The BBC keeps talking about the GDP. That means fuck all to me.
Oh yeah, that's good.
I thought that was great.
It is. It's
But yeah, that's what I
yeah.
think, because you will see stuff like that, like what you're just saying. There was like a recent report, I think, that said GDP in January went up X percentage, and I'm like, okay, yeah, that's great for somebody, sure, but
Yeah, not
GDP
for
doesn't
me or anyone
actually
else.
matter to fucking like actual people.
Yeah.
But I'm sure
Food's still fucking expensive.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's just what came to mind with that. But yeah, no, I don't like thinking about that stuff too. And then, but then there are those times I know we've talked about it before, but there are those times that I'll see something and I'll be like, oh man, and I'll want to say something to somebody or mention it, and like, but then I'm like, oh man, I don't want to bring it up to Will, because it's just going to both of us are just going to be mad, and I don't want to bring this thing up to him that he's already aware of and already mad about probably. But
the thing about it is that I'm just already mad.
yes.
Like you saying something is not the impetus of my anger.
But
it's not the trigger of the explosion. I'm already exploding inside. It's just that suddenly, whenever you step in the way of the shrapnel by mentioning the Melania documentary, I'm just like, what the fuck is this? Everything fucking sucks.
Yeah, well, that was also a case where I was like, I'm just going to leave this one alone. And so I stopped replying, and I was like, this is a dumb thing.
I
to
definitely
have the argument
reacted
about,
wrong to that.
It's fine.
No.
I understand.
No, it was just like I was already like exploding because I'm just reading documents about horrible atrocities to thousands of people, and we're just like, oh, well, maybe it's a fucking hoax. And I'm just like, well, the world is fucking done. So anyway, yeah.
Yeah, so... Well, that's been going on, but also I've had a decent couple weeks off.
Well, that's good.
Because specifically the same day you were dealing with all of that, I was having a lovely time in Canton.
I guess we should go to the regular show now.
That's fine.
No, tell me about it. What happened. What'd you do?
Yeah, the week leading up to last weekend.
Was this your movie day that you showed me all those tickets?
Yeah. So my partner is a big fan of Charlie XCX, and she has this movie that was coming out, or that came out rather at the time of this recording, called The Moment, and she really wanted to see it, and I was fine.
Is this like a concert doc or like a fiction? Like, what is this?
I'll get to that.
Oh,
it's so she wanted to see it, and I was like, I'd be fine to see it. I don't really know anything about Charlie XCX or her music. I know she's a British pop musician and really popular. That's all.
There's already like one check in your box of interest.
Right.
British.
Yeah. I mean, that's what Melissa used to try to sell me on it. She's like, she's very British. And I'm like, okay, I mean, that might be okay. But no, so yeah, she couldn't find any theaters around here that was showing it, which is typical for stuff that we like to see usually. There's one theater that's like maybe 25 minutes away that will, if any theater around here will have something that we want to see, that one is the one to have it, but they didn't have it.
Yeah.
And so I was like, and I found a theater in North Canton, a Cinemark that was showing it. And so I was thinking about it while I was at work, and I was like, fuck it, let's fucking have a movie day.
Fuck yeah.
And so
a movie
I
day,
got tickets. Though. Yeah, I guess because this is like an hour plus drive away from home, and I'm like, I don't want to go there for fucking one movie that I don't know if I'm gonna like. So
British isn't enough to make that whole.
I would
trip
like
worth
to. Yeah, there's plenty of British movies that aren't my cup of tea. But so I decided to get tickets for a couple of movies because there was like another one that she wanted to see that I was also kind of curious about, and then another one that I had not heard her mention, but I was like, I assumed that she will also be fine with watching this. So I got 3 tickets, and I got home in the morning, and I was like, hey, we're gonna be going to the movies on Saturday. So I was like, no, I was about to order the tickets. I waited for her to get up, and I was like, because usually on Saturday we're both kind of tired, and that's why we don't often go to the movies anymore, because I work a weird schedule, and then just her week is usually pretty exhausting. So usually by Saturday, whenever we have time to do stuff, we're both fucking just dead tired in the afternoon.
Yeah.
And I at least usually end up taking a nap, because if I wake up at a decent time, I end up getting really tired by like 1 or 2. But so I was like, if I get these tickets for 3 movies on Saturday, do you think you're going to be able to stay awake? The last movie starts at 9:50.
Oh wow, that's a day. Yeah, that is a long day.
And she was like, yeah, that's fine. And I was like, okay, I'm going to make sure I sleep before, like, if I get up early, I'm going to make sure I take a nap before we go, and then I should be fine. And I was fine, and we made it through the day and everything. So we saw in order. The first movie we saw was at 3:50, and it was Send Help, the new Sam Raimi film with Rachel McAdams.
Yeah.
And we saw it in the Cinemark theater. So Cinemark themselves have a like not as good IMAX, but not IMAX.
Mm-hmm.
So they have their own thing. It's called
Large
Cinemark XD, where it's like the bigger screen, the louder speakers.
Extra dick.
Exactly. But this theater in particular is one of these ones that has like the fucking like 4D, like the seat moves and shit with
rumbles.
And
It's
called
it's William Castle's dream. That's what it
exactly. So, and it's called like D box, I think is what they call it.
Dick box.
That is true. This is true.
Come experience the rattle of the dick box.
Yeah, keep your bum open.
So, William Castle's Tingler has nothing on this.
So I had been curious about trying that, because it's one of those movie theater gimmicky things that I've never had the experience to even like try if I wanted to. And so I was like, I'm gonna get tickets for that in that format, because I would just like to do it once just to see what it's like.
And what was this film for again? This is for Send Help?
Send Help. Yes. Okay. And so I got those tickets. We got the D box.
I got the D box. Got my box deed.
And so I just briefly, I'll say that very much enjoyed the movie. Both of us did.
Okay.
It had some kind of hokey CGI in it, but overall it was really great. And I actually said, as the credits were going, I was like, is it possible to somehow retroactively nominate Rachel McAdams, because she was fucking amazing in that movie. Yes, she like in parts unrecognizable. There's like a part like pretty much toward the very end where she's just like covered in all kinds of shit, and she's like filthy, and she's like holding a gun, and she looks fucking crazy. And I was like, if I walked in at this part, there's no way I would ever think that was Rachel McAdams. It does not look like her. Wow. She's unrecognizable. She's fantastic. But anyway, so we enjoyed that. The seat thing was interesting.
Did it add or take away from?
At first, it was kind of distracting.
Yeah.
It was decent. I don't know I'm not sure if I would do it again. So the first time I noticed it was a weird moment. It's toward the beginning, and she's like working at an office, and it's very much kind of like a lot of the first part of it reminds me kind of like Office Space, where it's like a workplace, like, oh, my job fucking sucks, and all these people fucking suck. Yeah. And there was this part where she was like eating a sandwich, and like the boss was walking by, and she was like putting the sandwich, like she was like hiding it basically, and she like put it in this drawer, and she tried to, because you're not supposed to be eating at your desk. Okay. And so she put it in this like drawer and like tried to shut it really quick. But whenever she shut it, it like smashed the sandwich as she, like it didn't get it completely into the drawer. So it just like smashed. And for some reason, whenever it cut to like the close up of the sandwich, like getting smashed, the seat vibrated.
You were the sandwich for a second.
Yes. And I was like, whoa. I like kind of reacted to it. I was like, that's a weird moment.
The perspective of a pickle. That's what
the first thing I noticed with the seat. And so, but there was a plane crash sequence, and that was actually pretty exciting. Like the seat was fucking. That was actually really fun.
So that's what I was curious.
a few moments of where it was like really fun, but at a certain point, maybe about halfway through the movie or so, where every time a thing would happen where like your seat would kind of like jostle you a little bit, I started thinking like, this kind of just feels like somebody behind me is kicking the back of my seat.
I remember that text you sent me. Yeah. So that's why I was curious, because I've done this once in a movie theater, and then I did this once at a theme park, and both times the movies were very like action packed, intense the whole way through. So I was kind of curious about, a Rachel McAdams movie called Send Help, if this was like an intense action thriller the whole way. And you're talking about being in an office. I'm like, holy cow, I can't imagine what they're doing.
The beginning,
for the 4D part.
So it's very Sam Raimi, which was great. It wasn't like it has some like very over the top gory stuff that was super fun. And so it's fairly actiony, I would say, because it's like basically her and her boss get like stranded on an island together.
Oh, this movie, yes, okay,
yes.
Yeah.
And so no, it was a decent movie for that, I thought. And you also have this little button pad on your right side there, so which I believe was just to like you could adjust the intensity.
Oh, you could.
And so
That's
I turned it up all the way.
Max D-box,
because I was like, I want to fucking D-box to the max.
I want my box D'd.
I want my box D'd out as much as possible.
D me. Max D. XD.
That's what it should be called. D me is what it should be called. So yeah, that was interesting. It was a really fun movie. And then the second, so I was telling her whenever I got the tickets also that like the order of the movies was based completely just on like the show times that were available.
Yeah, you
like,
didn't.
I told her like, this isn't the order I would have picked. I would have ended.
Curated.
I wanted to end on the Charlie XCX movie, which we got to, but I would have flipped Send Help on the second movie. So it went from a Sam Raimi, super fun, very funny, actiony, gory, like quirky, good time movie, Send Help, and we went into Best Picture nominee Hamnet.
I have no idea what this is. I've seen it as far as advertisements. But I have no idea what this is.
So it's essentially just like the story about like what William Shakespeare based Hamlet on. Like the inspiration for William Shakespeare's Hamlet is what the story is.
Okay.
And so the movie is William Shakespeare. It's essentially like a chapter of William Shakespeare's life and what caused him to write Hamlet and like why he wrote it and what it's based on.
Did he misspell it or did they misspell it?
Neither. So I was curious about that too. And thankfully the movie clears it up. The opening text, the first thing on the screen, the opening text
This is not a typo.
like this was on purpose. And then the title Hamnet fades in. No, the first thing on screen is it's an opening text that says like
in the 1600s they didn't have the letter L.
Close. In the like in the 16th century or whenever this was, fucking Hamnet and Hamlet were interchangeable as names, like via the census or whatever. They were completely interchangeable.
Yeah.
And so I was like, oh, okay. And no, it was. So this was one that she had made clear she wanted to see, and it was a Best Picture nominee, and I've heard that it was great. It didn't seem like something that I would really be into, but I was like, if I'm not going to see it in theater, I probably won't get myself to watch it.
Yeah,
so
right. May as well.
I'd
You're
like
here.
to see it.
What's the length?
Oh, it was just about 2 hours, maybe slightly over 2 hours.
That's not horrible.
It was less than 2.5, maybe between 2 and 2.5, maybe 2:10, something like that, somewhere in there. So yeah, for first little bit, it's like a very sweet romance because he like falls in love with this woman, and you know how that goes.
Do you think that this movie would have benefited from the XD 4D experience? The movie.
I joked about that.
Is there like a love scene where like the chair could have just like
like bumps you like a little bit?
Yeah, you know.
There was a love scene kind of early on. It was PG-13 movie, so it wasn't like graphic or anything.
Yeah, yeah.
But yeah, there was like a table sex scene. No, we were both kind of anxious because just before the show started, there was a group of maybe like 6 or 7 what seemed like teenagers or 20 maybe year olds.
Yeah.
Sat in the row in front of us.
I hate that.
And we were like, oh no. And they were kind of like joking around and being kind of noisy and like had their phones out and stuff. And like one of them twice lifted their arm thing up in between them. And then they like did something and it fucking slammed back down and made a loud sound. And then they like lifted
during
it up
the
again.
movie?
Same thing just before.
Okay.
That's what I was going to say. We were both really nervous, like, oh no. And then they were great. No phones. Good. They were quiet. They paid attention.
Fantastic.
So yeah, that was the only nerve-wracking part. But no, the movie ended up being like quite good. You could tell it was a Best Picture nominee kind of drama. Really, really sad, I will say. So that's what I was saying. We went from Send Help, having a great time. We're like, fuck yeah, this is great. And then we go to Hamnet and we're both like trying to not cry at the end of it. Because I had read a couple of people I follow on Letterboxd. Because this isn't a movie that I was like really like I need to see this and avoid everything. So I had seen a couple of people I follow on Letterboxd that were like I sobbed the whole time and stuff like that. And so most of the movie I was kind of like, this is a decent movie, but I'm not really like emotionally attached to it. So I wasn't really getting emotional until the last maybe 20-25 minutes. And I was like, oh yeah, this is this is pretty sad.
Do you think you would have if you didn't watch a Sam Raimi before that? Like were you still kind of like shifting gears?
I don't think so. No, okay. I was just kind of for the first while in the movie, I was just like, yeah, I mean, this is.
You were into it. It just wasn't
like these children getting deathly ill is sad.
Yeah.
But I'm not like I don't feel like I'm gonna cry about
it.
Okay. And so like I'm like, yeah, this movie is pretty depressing, but I don't feel like I'm gonna cry. I'm not like that emotionally invested in it. But I think I would like to mention the actress's name, if I could. Her performance is what almost got me. Jessie Buckley, who played Agnes, who was William Shakespeare's wife. So the part that like made me tear up and almost cry was the last 25 or 30 minutes of the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Just her her facial performance and just like her reaction, because it essentially you see what happens and then he writes Hamlet basically. And so but he's also away from home a lot and she kind of is resentful about that. And anyway, she goes to the like first play of Hamlet. Like they're putting on Hamlet the play and she is there, and the lead character, the title character, is named after and based on his son who just died. Their son who is dead.
I see.
And so like at first the play starting and the character who is playing Hamlet comes out and she gets like emotionally, she's just like snaps. And at first she's like angry and she's like don't say his name, and she like starts interrupting the play, and like everybody is like looking at her like what the fuck. But then she realizes like what happened, because William is also in the play as a ghost, and she realizes like, oh, like he made himself, the father, dead to save his life. And so in this play, Hamlet didn't die as a child. He's like an adult and he got to go on these adventures. And so the whole last bit is like her watching the play, and just like her face, like as she's watching like her quote unquote son on stage. I was like, oh my God. Yeah. And it was, my eyes were watering up and it was just so good. So we were both like borderline crying at the end of that movie, and we're like, all right, I guess let's go to this Charlie XCX.
Let's go to a party now.
Because so I was telling her like, yeah, if I could have selected the order, I would have definitely done Hamnet and then Send Help and then The Moment is what I would have wanted to do. But there was only one Hamnet showtime. And so just the way the showtimes worked out, that's the order I had to go in. So I was like, all right, well, let's whiplash back into this. I also don't really know what the moment is. I just know that she was in it, and that's all I know about it.
Oh, okay.
Don't know anything else about this movie.
Mm-hmm.
It's like an A24 movie, and she's in it, and that's all I know. And
So maybe I have seen something about this and didn't realize that was the singer.
oh, maybe.
Yeah.
So, oh yeah. Also, I did want to say also going into Hamnet, I like looked up what Hamlet was because I realized like I don't know if it's going to matter or not, but I don't know anything about Hamlet.
Yeah.
I've never seen any iteration of it. I've never read it.
I've only read
like
parts of it.
I like Macbeth, and I'm familiar with that one, but I don't really know. I am aware of like it because I found out as I was watching the movie that I also obviously recognized some famous lines and stuff.
Yeah,
but I was
yeah.
like, oh, I didn't realize that was from Hamlet specifically.
Right. Yeah.
And now there's context to that, and so that makes sense. And so that was kind of interesting. So I like read a quick Wikipedia synopsis of Hamlet, and I was like, I don't know if it's going to matter, but now I kind
There
of
you go.
know what Hamlet
You're
is.
up to speed.
But it was kind of the same with the moment. I was like, I don't know anything about her, and I don't know if that's going to matter or not.
She's
I don't
British.
know what this is. She's British, and that's good for me, I guess. So that's all I know.
Yeah.
But I don't know anything about her music. I know that it's probably not my cup of tea. Melissa was also like, I don't know if you're going to like this movie because I don't think her music is really for you. And I was like, well, we'll see. And,
We'll see.
So the movie starts, and immediately I was just like jaw dropped, like, whoa, what the fuck?
Really?
Because the opening of it. So I sent you one of her songs, that 365.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The opening sequence of the film is a remix version of that from like the deluxe version of that album. There is a remix of that song, and the movie opens with the remix version of that song, and like strobe lighting her like fucking like on her hands and knees, like fucking going at it's just like black and white, like just strobe flashing with this music playing. I'm like, whoa, what the fuck? And I was
Audio
like,
visual overload immediately.
is this what this movie is going to be? And then it like the title card comes up on screen, and then it kind of gets into it. But the transitions also, like the location transitions and the scene transitions were fucking whack. They were I've never seen anything quite like it. Super interesting. Like they went to Heathrow at one point, and whenever it was cutting to Heathrow, like there's just, for example, all the transitions, there's like all of this text on the screen that just like strobe flashes, and it's like Heathrow Airport. It's like all over the fucking screen, and it's colorful, and it fucking within like 2 seconds it just and then you're there. And it does that throughout the whole movie, and I'm like, oh my god, it's super interesting. So it's like a faux documentary about her. It takes place in 2024 after the Brat album came out and becomes like a big phenomenon.
Interesting.
And it's like her like preparing for the tour, or like a big, or like the final show of the tour is what it is that they're preparing for. It's going to be like
but not real.
Correct.
Huh.
It's like a spoof version of reality, essentially. And so they're like preparing for the final concert, which is being filmed for like a concert special.
Okay.
And this is a documentary crew. So you're watching fake documentary crew footage of them preparing for this like final concert.
Of the actual concert. Or of the concert in the fake documentary.
A fake version of the final concert, I would say.
Okay.
Because
so I don't know enough about this artist either to know if this is something related to a character, or two white guys. Here we go.
I don't think I have an answer for you either.
I mean, I'm not saying that that's a weird choice. I'm just curious as to why that choice was made.
No, it's really interesting.
Yeah.
So I'm the only, as much information as I know, or
she's British.
The only information I know about this film after watching it, the only background about this movie, I still haven't watched any interviews or anything with any of them talking about it. I don't know. I know that the director, I believe this is his first feature that he has directed, and he has directed multiple of her music videos, it seems.
Okay.
Looking at his IMDb.
Have you seen any of her music videos?
Nope.
Okay.
To this day, I have not.
Are you just refusing?
Yeah, I've seen this movie. I don't want to see her ever again.
Don't want to see anything else.
So it's co-written by that dude and a Bertie Brandes, who I don't know who that is.
Okay.
But it says based on an original idea by Charlie XCX also. So this was her idea. So the IMDb...
Everything is based on an original idea.
True. Well, this one is specifically her idea.
Okay.
The IMDb synopsis, let's see. It says a rising pop star navigates the complexities of fame and industry pressure while preparing for her arena tour debut. Huh. That's fair. That's an accurate description. So there's
rings a bell.
Yeah.
How did you know, or did you know while watching it that this was a fake documentary? Or was this discovered after the fact?
I knew. I will say that I didn't know how much was fake and how much was real.
It's like a gray area of.
I knew. I mean, I went into it thinking that it's a faux documentary.
Why?
I don't remember. I don't remember why, but I did think that.
I just didn't know if there was some kind of.
I think I had looked up the. I think maybe I had seen the IMDb page for it.
Okay, so you had some insider information.
And it didn't list it as like documentary, so
Yeah.
I didn't assume it was like a documentary.
Okay.
But
I guess also my question to that is...
And then there are recognizable actors that are playing parts also. Rosanna Arquette is in it, and Alexander Skarsgård is playing the director of the concert documentary, or the concert footage.
Yeah.
And he is he is hilarious. So he gets hired to direct the concert film that they're preparing for.
Uh-huh.
And he starts just like fucking steamrolling what they're doing. Like he starts like pitching in ideas that nobody asked for, and like annoying everybody basically. Yeah. And like he basically like takes over it and makes it his own thing. Yeah. So that was very entertaining. He was like a show stealer, I thought.
That was going to be my question, was like, someone who doesn't know anything and didn't even look up what you looked up, would there be, any kind of way to tell if it was fake or real from the get-go? But clearly, if you're seeing, I guess you'd have to know those actors. But if you were seeing actors, then you know that there's some kind of artificialness to it.
But so whenever I said I didn't know how much was fake or how much was real, is because there was also like... there was some footage that I don't know that I didn't, and some of it I still don't know if it was made like fake footage that was made for the movie, or if they actually like made this up for the film. So there was like an appearance of her on with Stephen Colbert.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, for example, I know that at least part of it was made up for the movie, for this one part, but I don't know if her appearance that they showed a part of was actually her on the Stephen Colbert show, or if it was like that they shot that for this film. I don't know. So there was some stuff like that. And then the ending of it confused me because I thought it was an ad.
Oh,
I thought it was an actual advertisement. And Melissa was like laughing at me. She was like, "That's not real." And I was like, "Oh, well." I'm glad, because if it was, it would have ruined this movie for me. Because I was actually complaining about it.
So what made it so weird, like that moment?
Because spoiler alerts for the moment, I guess. So the final like moment of the movie is like, it essentially just goes into a teaser commercial for the concert film.
Oh.
And it's like stream it on Amazon Prime. And I was like, this whole thing was a fucking advertisement for this concert film on Amazon Prime. And I was not happy. And I was like, did we watch this like hour and 45-minute movie just to lead up to a fucking Amazon Prime ad? I was like, I liked this up until that point. And she was like, that's not real. And I was like, that's not on Prime. And she was like, no, I'm pretty sure that was just for the movie. I was
see.
like, oh, I like it then.
I'm back in.
That's fine.
I'm back
yes. And so I was like, okay, good. This movie was good then. I liked this movie. I actually liked it quite a bit. And
Would you watch an
since-
actual concert documentary at first?
I don't know. I would have to listen to more of her music probably first.
Did this movie get you to listen to the music?
Yeah. I
So-
specifically listened to that album after watching
So
the
then
movie.
it was an
yeah.
ad. You're welcome.
For her music, surprisingly, no. Because
It works.
so we actually, both of us expected her music to be like featured prominently throughout the film. We expected it to be like a Charlie's music movie.
Yeah, of course.
And it was not. There was like almost none of her music. There was more. Bittersweet Symphony played at one point, and that played more than any of her music played in the
Do
entire
you think
thing.
that they couldn't get the rights?
to her music in her own movie? That'd be pretty sad. No, there was definitely like a couple of little parts.
She just
but,
didn't agree to it. She just didn't
yeah,
agree to
she's
sign
like,
over. She's like,
Nah.
no, this movie doesn't represent what I want it to represent.
But no, yeah, it was really entertaining. It was pretty funny. I was actually really confused at first because I was like in my head for the first maybe 20 or 30 minutes, I was like, I don't know why she did this because this is not making her look very good. Because for the first while of it, she seems very much like hard to put up with and rude.
Right, yeah.
I was like,
Brat
I
is
was
the
like,
album, right? So
and I'm kind of like, I don't know why she's doing this because this does not paint her in a very good light so far. And she's like, it's like, because at first, at least to me, as somebody who doesn't know her, I'm like, this is making her look like snobby, like celebrity person. And she's like wearing these like sunglasses inside, and she's really rude to everybody that she's coming into contact with, and seems very standoffish.
Yeah.
And I was like, this doesn't paint her in a very good light. But then as it went on, I kind of figured out like the stress of like the film, like in her character, like what she is going through during the course of
why
this
she's
movie
like
and
this?
stuff.
There's like explanation.
And so it definitely made sense. And I thought she herself was really good. Yeah, she was British. She did have a British accent.
that's
that was
good.
good.
That checks out.
Yeah. So
And then-
I did really enjoy her voice.
And then you got to listen to her music after the fact, and you liked her music.
And I liked the album Brat. Yeah, contrary to what my partner would have expected. She was very pleasantly surprised. There's a couple of songs on it that I don't care for, but overall,
yeah, sure,
I liked it quite a bit. I've actually listened to that album in full, I think 3 times now.
Wow.
Yeah,
I enjoyed
really
the
good.
song that you sent me, 365.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say that like I like really dug it. I liked the funky synth sound.
yeah, me too.
I like that a lot. But I don't know, it was something about that voice that is overly poppy sounding. I'm not a huge fan of that. I'm not saying it's like I hated it or that that she's the worst I've heard doing that. It's just something that's not my cup of tea.
That's we were actually just talking about that album earlier. Like the reason why she assumed I wouldn't like it, and my biggest complaint with it is the like abundant auto tune and pitch correction. Like that's my issue with just modern pop music in general. Is just like the like way overproduced, like everything is pitch corrected. It's like so manufactured and it's like robotic.
Yep.
How like every beat is like specifically perfect and like every note is there's like nothing organic sounding.
Yeah.
And you can tell that it's like, oh, that singer recorded the chorus one time and then it's that exact same recording that's played every time the chorus plays. It's not like a different audio recording every time they do the chorus. Because I related it to the reason why I decided to listen to that, and as I also text you that Sabrina Carpenter album, was because I kind of recently in general have been thinking about how I definitely like pop music, and like my favorite album from The Sound, for example, I found is their last album, which is like their poppiest album. It's like their least punk album that they made. It's like really poppy the whole way through, and that's my favorite one. I love the poppy Cure tracks. I love the Smiths, so just pop. And so I was like, I love these 80s pop songs. So like, why don't I like the modern pop music? Like, what is the difference? And then that's for me anyway, definitely the difference is like, you can listen to the Smiths and you can tell, like, I mean, there's some like little imperfections here and there with different things that make it fucking amazing. You can tell Morrissey isn't just like recording each line once and then they just played the exact same recording over and over. He's like singing the entire song.
Yeah. So
Um,
my question to you though, because you sent me this text shortly after you raved about this music and sent me the track and everything. You sent me the text quote, between my newfound appreciation for that album, Brat, and for Sabrina Carpenter, Mel has declared I am now a pop girly.
yeah.
And my response was, now? Oh, dear child, your eyes have only been made aware. and I felt like you thought I was joking. Because you didn't reply.
No, I didn't.
You didn't reply for a whole day.
I was definitely driving, I think, whenever you
were,
sent those.
but
And
it was still,
I think I just didn't.
It was
I
still
was like, I
almost
don't know what to
16
say,
hours
and then
later.
I forgot to.
Yeah, sure. But no, but I was clearly, kind of tugging at your chain a little bit. But so you mentioned,
Whoa, save that for the D-Box.
I know. You mentioned all these poppers are these more poppy sounding tracks of other artists and stuff that are older.
Yeah.
So my question to you though is that do you classify that as a different style of pop, or is it just the limitation of the technology when that stuff was recorded? For instance, if you had, or not you, if Morrissey or anyone else in the similar vein that you already like had the technology that allowed them to multi-layer tracks and do all this overdubbing and pitch correction and pitch changing or whatever without having to worry about tape, a physical tape, the expense of that, being able to experiment and do whatever they wanted on a computer that didn't cost any more material than just time alone. Do you think they would have, or do you think that it's that, or even just the fact that is a lot of the stuff that you like about those more poppy versions of older groups, that sound, that the fact that they're not overly manufactured, overly perfect or whatever, is it just because like magnetic tape kind of has a organic rough sound to it, and older microphones just didn't have the quality as they do, and there wasn't a filter on a computer didn't exist to EQ out the room noise? Is it maybe just that stuff? So that's why I said now question mark, because I felt like, not speak, I think auto-tune is clearly like an annoying thing no matter the genre, and pop music definitely way heavily uses that, but so does like rap and there are other genres that use that too. But outside of a couple of like those types of things, sometimes like the simplistic musicality of it, I think, is something that you don't dig either. I think you like a little bit more nuance, or a little bit more like complexity to some music sometimes, as far as note choices and rhythms, and like some pop music can be very like, just boring. So maybe that's some stuff that you don't like as well. And I'm speaking, clearly on assumption here, but I wasn't surprised whenever you said that Melissa said that, because I was like, well, yeah, to me, it's like, I think this is your genre. It's just that there are a lot of groups now that do this that just suck at it. But
Yeah,
that doesn't mean you don't like
agree.
the genre. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And I definitely didn't take your text message in like a negative way or anything like that.
Okay, good.
I definitely agreed, because like the sound, like the example I just gave,
Yeah.
and then there's like other bands that I've talked about even on here, like the Chameleons, or
Right.
New Order is one of my favorites, and The Cure. Like a lot of them are just very poppy, like make a lot of pop music. It's just
Pop at the time.
I think I just prefer. I think it was just of the time. That
Yeah.
was just how they did it, and some of these bands still exist, or musicians still are doing music and still do it kind of a similar way that they did back then. Like I know Morrissey definitely still does solo music, and you can tell he's not just like recording his vocal track like
Right.
one line at a time.
Yeah.
He still does it like still sounds
But is
pretty
it
much the same.
is it also because I guess
That's how he's done it.
total yeah exactly it's this total assumption
know-
that he's just playing to nostalgia.
I know that that's what he prefers because I remember, I don't know if it was in his autobiography or if it was in an interview or something, but I remember him somewhere talking about how he really didn't or doesn't like the first Smiths album very much. And it was his complaint that he had with it was that, or one of his complaints about it was that the producer of that album had him record his vocal track like one line at a time, basically. And he said that he hated that because he
Yeah.
prefers to just like sing the entire
sure.
thing all as one.
That's how it's meant to be.
And so he said that he felt that his vocal performance is really hindered on that first album
Okay.
because of that. You can tell like the other three albums after the first one all sound way different. The first album stands out in sound
Yeah.
from the other three albums completely.
So I guess the question is like, where is like the line, the line of delineation between how a genre sounds and what a genre is. And I don't know how to make that any more understandable because I'm not even sure if I made sense just now. But do you see what I'm saying? Like you can have pop as a genre, but there's also this certain type of pop sound that some people prefer over other types of pop sound, but that doesn't mean that it's not pop, So it's just
where there's
it's
like
a
pop
curious
rock.
thought. Well, there's
for
that.
example,
Yeah, there's
or,
there's other
like-
blends. Yeah,
Yeah.
but I mean, it's a curious, like, I guess, thing to think about for me right now is like, where
It's
is
just-
that, like, where is that sliding scale of like how much of this determines that and how much of this determines that?
It's a similar thing with Peter Hook from famously from New Order and Joy Division, the bassist that I
Yeah,
like a
okay.
lot. The one I showed you that music video, and you said that he was the cool one, and everyone else looked like dorks or whatever.
Yeah, that's right.
He's like my favorite bassist ever. He had a book about the Joy Division years, and he also has a book about like the New Order years and stuff like that. So I've listened to his audiobook about Joy Division, like being in the band and like the history of the band. And he actually talks a lot about not a lot, a bit about New Order as well in it, and how because he talked about how he started to resent the way New Order sounded as they went along, because like in Joy Division and in the first couple New Order albums, they definitely have like a less polished, more natural kind of
Rough.
like sound to them
Organic or whatever.
that even he said that he preferred. And so like one of my favorite songs ever is Disorder by Joy Division, and if you listen to that song, you can hear bad bass notes. Like he messes up in multiple places.
It's
like
not
he
perfection.
strums. Yes. And he talked
yeah.
about how like in that book, he even specifically talked about like, oh, if we did this today though, we would have like re-recorded it and would have ruined the whole thing because it would have been like too polished.
Yeah.
And he talked about how throughout New Order, Bernard, who was doing the guitar and vocals, like he was more okay in the earlier years with like not sounding perfect, and like his vocals would sometimes be a little rough, but like that was great. It sounded so good.
Mm-hmm.
And then like as the years went on, the music started to get more and more polished and like cleaned up, and the vocal tracks started getting like too polished and perfect, and he's like, it just fucking ruins it.
Yeah.
Because there's no life to the music anymore if it just sounds like that.
I mean,
And that's kind of, I agree with that. I mean, there's obviously still stuff that I like that Sabrina Carpenter album, for
Sure,
example,
yeah,
or
right.
that Charlie album, which most of the album is very auto-tuney, and her voice sounds so much better without it, but that's just the way it is.
I mean, I guess,
and
like,
I definitely prefer it to not be like that.
there's a almost direct line here between audio, the music, and then also like the equivalent being films, right? Like a lot of people claim to like older now, movies for how practical they were, or how real the sets and the lighting and the costumes or the special effects or whatever was. That does, for those people who, which I'm one of those, or even how it was shot, like on film, right, compared to digital. They have just something about them that's altogether, all those like tiny imperfections or tiny realisms or whatever make the movie better. But that doesn't necessarily mean that like there's not newer movies that I don't like at all. There's just sometimes fewer of them.
Yeah.
So same thing.
I agree. Yeah. And there was something about that maybe it was Joe Lynch or somebody I follow on Letterboxd watched some movie. I don't remember if it was like a Marvel movie or what it was. There's some recent movie that they watched and they logged, and I don't remember if the review was positive or negative, but I remember them mentioning something that really stuck with me, which was like, they said something about like how essentially their comment was about how like back in the day you would hear or watch interviews with like the filmmakers or actors talking about making a thing, and like they have all these stories about like how crazy it was that we did X, Y, and Z, and they're like, now in 20 years all the stories are just going to be like, yeah, we were there in front of the green screen and we shot it. And that's all it's going to be. It's not going to there's not going to be like a crazy like, man, we were on location at this place and like it was crazy, we had to deal with this, like this person came up and did this and this, like there's so many interesting stories. And now it's just going to be like, well, I mean, we showed up there and there was like the green screen and they put the wires on me and I went flying into the air,
some dots on my face, and it was great.
Exactly. Yeah. But I didn't really think about that until I read this review and whoever it was by, and I was like, man, yeah, that is depressing. There's not going to be that like whole, in 20 years there's not going to be those like awesome stories about how this thing was made. It's just going to be or at least from the actor standpoint. I mean, I guess there's always going to be a director who's like stressed out about everything.
Oh, sure, yeah.
And there's going to be an interesting story there somewhere, but there's all the actors are just going to have like, I mean, I waited in the trailer and then they called me to set.
Actors, what are you talking about? There's going to be a computer code programmer who's like, I programmed like 9 digital assets.
Movie was fun.
Yeah. So that's the weird thing that I've been recently-ish thinking about with AI music, right? Is that, completely 100% computer generated music that sounds as though it's done by humans. Absolute garbage. Not just from like the ethical, moral standpoint of it being a computer thing, but it just sounds like crap, right? But then you have music of which you and I are fans of that can be 100% created by a machine. Absolutely. I mean, maybe like the note choices and the rhythm choices are made by a human or whatever, right? But even then, like the synth loops and the synth beats or whatever, those are, whatever the machine spits out, depending on what you've programmed or, plugged in. But that can sound great. And it's like, so for me, sometimes it's like, I guess, and even with like movies, it's not like whenever a movie uses a lot of CG or a lot of, clearly like green screen or whatever, sometimes they can look like crap. But then there are also movies out there that I have seen that are fucking amazing, and they're 100% computer done, right? But I think like the difference is that whenever the artificial pretends to be real, that's whenever I have an issue with it. So like auto-tune or overly done CG, right? Trying to make something next to real or whatever. I guess maybe auto-tune doesn't really want to do that, but you see what I'm saying? Whereas if it's a machine or a computer or an electronic thing doing it and sticking within its own wheelhouse. Like, I'm not trying to sound or look like something to fool you. I am what I am. Enjoy what I am, you know. And then to me, it's fine. An example, like, you know, synth music or fucking like Toy Story, right? Like, both. Now again, that's not, AI doesn't completely translate, because AI, there's almost no human input. Whereas those other ones, there's at least designers and, you know, programmers and, you know, artists still manipulating things, thankfully. So I guess there is that part about it. But yeah, it's just interesting as you were explaining the whole pop, the older pop versus new pop thing. That kind of popped in my head with like the movies, as far as, you know, it's sort of like the same at least same concept for me, is that I do definitely prefer the more organic, the more human, the more, you know, practical, whatever version. But that doesn't mean that I completely hate anything that is all digital or all, you know, whatever. It just, it has to be the right sound, the right flavor.
That's whenever so that Sabrina Carpenter album was the first one that I listened to. Her album Short and Sweet, and whenever I pulled it up, because I pulled up like a YouTube video in my car of like the full album, and the first song started, and I almost was like, oh, and I almost like turned it off, because
hold on,
immediately you could hear the like pitch correction in her vocals, like very clearly in her like opening couple of lines. Like it doesn't sound auto-tuney, like, you know, like a vocoder, like auto-tune, like robotic voice sounding. It sounds like her voice, but very clear pitch correction, like jumping. Yes. And it's only like really clear in the first like couple of lines that she sings, and I was like, oh no, like this is what I was afraid of. But I stuck with it, and that's actually one of my favorite tracks on the whole album, is that opening track of that opening song. Is really good, but I just hate that part where you can hear that. And there's a few of those parts throughout the album you can hear where like obvious pitch correction that I really don't like. But no, overall, there's like one song on that album that I think is just like boring. It doesn't stand out to me in any way, but the rest of the album is so good. And cool. I was really surprised with like how like musically interesting the whole thing was, because I expected just like generic ass like like boring fucking pop sound
early
like the whole time.
Pop,
but there's really interesting musicality. There's like one song that sounds like a old school like Dolly Parton track, and there's like some like funk. There's like all kinds of different stuff. Yeah. It's really good, really interesting, and that's the same. All right, with that.
Fine, I'll listen to it.
I recommend it. I definitely do, and I liked it so much that I listened to. Oh, no, not yet. I listened to her Man's Best Friend album, the one with the super controversial album cover that everybody was upset about. Where she's like on her hands and knees, and like a guy has her hair, is like pulling her hair. Okay. And there was like a ton of controversy about this, because people like went nuts. I texted you about it at one point, because I was like, I didn't know in the year 2025 people were still getting this upset about album covers, because this isn't like my like little bubble of awareness. Like people are upset about this. Is like a big controversy, this album cover, to the point that she actually, I thought it was great, even without knowing anything about her or her music. They released like another version of the album with like an alternate cover where she's like with the guy like dancing, and she like has her arms around him, and she posted, I guess on Twitter or something, like this album artwork is approved by God.
I see.
And I was like, that's fucking great.
I almost said it's the evangelical prude cover. Yeah,
yes, it was great. I think it's the same album. It's just with that cover instead.
Yeah, exactly.
But yeah, the other one is like her in like a little black dress on like her hands and knees, like looking at the camera, and there's a man in front of her that you can only see from the waist down, and he has like a fistful of her hair. Right. And like that's what the album cover is. That caused a huge stir. And I was even talking to my partner. I was like, this was a joke in Spinal Tap. Like it's 2025. It's not super surprising, but there's still a part of me that is like, it's not super surprising, but I still there's the part of me that like I can't believe in 2025 we're still upset about it.
But I
an
can.
album cover.
But I can because
well, that's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
I also can. Yes,
because if anything, the evangelical prude voices out there are getting more and more active and vocal over the most bullshit. I mean, these are the same people that think like Halloween is like, you know, the absolute worst thing anyone can celebrate, right?
Well,
like,
yeah, and then there was this like rift about it that I remember there about like feminists saying that it's like anti-feminist, but then there's these other feminists that are saying this is super feminist. That this album cover.
It depends on what wave you're on. Yeah,
it's a picture on an album cover. Yeah. Like if you're that upset about it, you just like don't listen to it and move on or something. Like, I don't know why it has to be a big deal.
It's a female artist who's putting her own decisions out there. Yeah.
Yes. So I listened to that album because I enjoyed the other one so much, and I was really disappointed that album didn't do anything for me. I listened to the whole thing, and it was like nothing. Upon one listen, anyway, nothing stood out, and I was like, "This is like a generic pop, like." What I don't like about pop music, that one is Band's Best Friend is. Okay. Short and Sweet was in 2024, it was the one right before it. And that one was the opposite, where like first listen through, every song almost was like, yeah, this is fucking good. And then the next album, I like listened to everything and I was like, yeah, it's kind of dull for me. Huh. But my partner said that her previous album before Short and Sweet is her favorite one, and she says that she thinks I like that one more. So, and then I'm going to listen to Charlie, her album before Brat, called Crash, named after and inspired by the David Cronenberg film.
Oh, really?
Crash.
Nice.
She's a big David Cronenberg. So so the only rabbit hole with her that I've gone down, aside from listening to Brat, is that she is like a huge movie person.
That's cool.
In general. And she has a Letterboxd account that Melissa sent me. And
you're gonna join the fan club next week.
I followed her on Letterboxd. she watches a lot of good shit. But no, yeah, she seems super interesting. Just as a person, I think, just on the little that I know. And I'm gonna listen to more of her music and hopefully enjoy it.
Okay.
My partner said that Crash is is very 80s sounding, so I look forward to that.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, she says she thinks I like that one too. So
I look forward to the review of those then.
Yeah, and there's a couple more of her songs on Brat I'd like to show you at some point, but
eventually.
Yeah, or not.
Or maybe I've already listened to the whole album.
You could have listened to it, yeah. I don't know.
And just didn't comment on it at all.
It's very possible. Yeah.
All right, well, let's go do a normal show then, I guess, and enjoy some D-Box.
All right. #D-Boxing.